Should I start crocheting? By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to start crocheting. No more guessing and no more being overwhelmed. I remember being so confused when I first started crocheting, and after 4-ish years of crocheting, I figured out what actually matters. And I'll show you how to get started for under $10. But anyway, if you're new here, hi, I'm Olive. I have my own crochet business, and if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and stay to the end because I'll be giving away a tip that most people don't get to. So one of the most fundamental things of crochet is a crochet hook. A lot of people get knitting and crochet mixed up, but just to clarify, crochet is just one hook. Anyway, you're probably like, what crochet hook can I get? And when you Google crochet hook, you'll see all these results and you'll see packs of them, but honestly, you don't need all those packs. I started with just one 5mm crochet hook. We'll get to sizing and what kind you need later, which is the standard size for most acrylic projects, which is what beginners usually start with. So what does millimeter mean? So basically it just means the size of your crochet hook. The bigger the amount of millimeters, the bigger the crochet hook is. For example, here is a 5mm crochet hook versus a 2.75mm crochet hook, and you can visibly see the difference between each one. If you're on a budget, I recommend only buying one crochet hook, and that would be the 5mm crochet hook because it is by far the most common crochet hook, and you'll find a lot of things you can make with just a 5mm crochet hook. You'll also find that on some crochet hooks you'll find a letter and a number. I found that most crocheters don't use those terms, so you don't really have to worry about it. I now know that it's just a way of differentiating sizes, just like a millimeter is, and millimeter is way more common to use, so don't worry about the letters and the number. So like I said before, I don't recommend getting a pack, especially if you're trying to start with $10. You can usually get the standard metal crochet hook for under $3 on Walmart, Amazon, and various other sites on the internet. But Amazon is usually a good place to go, and usually Michael's. There's also many different types of crochet hooks. There's metal crochet hooks, plastic crochet hooks, ergonomic crochet hooks. And this would be called an ergonomic one because it has this rubber grip, and I did not start with those. I started with this, and then now I have a few that have grips, and I'd say start with a metal one because it's cheaper, and then once you get into the swing of it, you can invest in a better crochet hook of your favorite size. Next, let's talk yarn, and trust me, this can feel like the hardest part. So I recommend starting with a medium weight number 4 acrylic yarn. It's affordable and it's easy to work with, and it's widely available. You can find these at any arts and crafts store. Like, it is the most popular type of yarn. And then you go to the store and you see a bunch of brands of acrylic yarn. How do you know if it's acrylic? How do you know which one to choose? I'll tell you which one I recommend choosing and how to tell if it's acrylic or a number 4 weight yarn. So the yarn I recommend starting with as a beginner using acrylic is Loops and Threads. Personally, it's not my favorite yarn now, but it's a really easy yarn for beginning because it doesn't split. It's nice and soft and it flows really nicely. Like, you won't have to struggle with your hook piercing through your yarn. Personally, and many others start with Red Heart Super Saver. Red Heart Super Saver is a perfectly good option. It's affordable as well, but I just don't think that it's the best yarn. It's quite rough, and you're not going to be too happy with your end product if you used rough yarn, because not only is it not comfortable, but in the end, you're going to have this scratchy project. Like, if you're making a hat, you're going to end up with a scratchy project. And also, Red Heart Super Saver, I feel like, tends to be more expensive than buying Michael's brand yarn, which is Loops and Threads, or Joann brand yarn, even though Joann is kind of iffy now that it's closing. And you can easily get loops and threads from Michael for $3.99, and oftentimes they have sales, so you might be able to get it for a little bit less. So when you're trying to figure out which yarn is a number 4 acrylic, here's how you do it. So on the back of the yarn label, you'll see all the details. So this one says that it's medium, and then it has the 4 inside the yarn ball, and that's how you know that it's a medium weight number 4 yarn. And then on the side it has its knitting needle recommendation and the 5.5 millimeter recommendation. A lot of people tend to just use a 5 millimeter, and I found that this yarn does work really well with a 5 millimeter crochet hook. The stitches are nice and tight, and there's not too much space. And also underneath, as you can see, it says 100% acrylic, so that's how you know it's acrylic yarn. And if you're still watching to this point, let me just give you a round of applause. And here's a tip that you will not have known if you didn't watch to this point. When you're crocheting, don't give up, and don't be afraid to unravel your work. Unraveling your work is like the best way to learn, and then in the end you'll have something that you're proud of, rather than just keeping going and being too scared to unravel your work, because you'll be able to get it back, and just that practice will make you faster at it. And even now I sometimes have to unravel these big pieces of work, and it's really sad right then, but it's worth it in the end. So that's a really good tip that I really recommend you keep in mind. Okay, and now here's some miscellaneous tools. These are probably tools that you already own, so you don't have to spend much money. So you probably have some scissors. Most people have scissors in their house already, and if you don't, you can find them at Dollar Tree for $1.25, and I bet you can find it at a Walmart for pretty cheap as well. And stitch markers, they're totally optional. You can use a lot of different things as stitch markers. Obviously, you see people online recommending the conventional type plastic stitch markers, but you can use a lot of things. Like personally, I've used bobby pins, safety pins, yarn scraps. Whatever you have that will work is perfect. Like you can use keychains. You don't really need to add that extra expense. Crocheting does not have to be expensive to be fun and productive. So now that you have all your materials, how do you actually start crocheting? Like, how are you gonna learn? And let me just tell you, this platform that you're watching this video on taught me how to crochet. One tutorial got me started, and I figured out the rest from just practice. Whether you choose to do that or you choose to watch tutorials for your whole crochet journey, you'll still be learning really good lessons on crochet. And let me just tell you, if one video doesn't work for you and you get frustrated, try other videos, because everybody teaches crochet differently, and some tutorials are harder than others and some are easier than others. It just depends on what your learning style is and how that person is teaching you. Just keep trying it until one clicks, because when that one clicks, you are gonna feel so good. And if you want a tutorial playlist of the ones that I think would be the most beneficial to start with, just let me know in the comments and I'll put that together for you guys. So adding all the expenses up together, it's only $7.24, so that's crochet for you. All you need is a hook, some yarn, and some scissors. It's honestly one of the most rewarding hobbies. I might be a bit biased, but being able to design and create your own clothes is like the ultimate flex. So now you have no excuses not to start crochet today. Anyway, tell me in the comments how your crochet journey is going, and tell me what tutorials you used to start learning crochet. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy learning how to crochet, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.